Flair for sure.
All right. Sports. Talk. Live.
Do you guys even know where Vancouver Island is? It's not even close to Toronto. Okay, let's get things going.
Welcome to the Unnamed Sports Show. I am your host, Joshua Griffith on the Sports Talk Line Network. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment, interact with me all show. Sorry we're a little bit late today, had some technical difficulties. I don't know if you checked out the round table, but I am not the most technical person. So we were able to figure it out, and this show is up for go. So I know everybody was hassling me and further sports and from where it was coming from. So really excited about today's show. I have Jay Janower from Global BC Sports. Anyone familiar with his work? We're going to talk lots of different sports today. We're going to talk some Whitecaps and some Canucks and NHL news. He's my only guest today, and because we have a lot of sports news, and I think everybody needs to get caught up with it. So, besides all the European football that we have back, starting to see other leagues in North America get their detailed plans for returns. Things are really picking up with sports. I for one could not be more happier about things. I'm actually having to make lists about all the sports that are back. We have the Bundesliga, the English Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, NASCAR, PGA, UFC. And then there's the leagues that are really close to returning, like in the case with MLS. And they were about 2 weeks away from the MLS's back tournament. Excuse me. That's where I wanted to start today's show, but we have some big news out of the English Premier League. So I'm going to start with that first. Liverpool was able to take care of Crystal Palace pretty easily with a 4-0 win yesterday. And then they once again were scoreboard watching. So they were able to watch the Chelsea Man City game that actually just finished about 30 minutes ago here. And they're going to be partying tonight and into tomorrow morning, I would imagine, as they are the English Premier League champions. So congratulations to Liverpool. They watched Chelsea beat Man City 2-1 after a Willian penalty. We had Christian Pulisic for Chelsea opening the scoring before Kevin De Bruyne with a beautiful free kick equalized things at 1-1 in the 55th minute. There was a really bad handball by Fernandinho, and he was sent off with a red card, and that's what caused the penalty there. So Chelsea made no mistake from the mark. So I got the Liverpool scarf up. I'm not a Liverpool fan myself, but I know lots of people out there are. So congratulations to Liverpool again and all you Liverpool supporters, because it has been a long time coming for all you guys. So where I wanted to actually start my show, as I get a little more relaxed and comfortable here after our technical difficulties, with the MLS. And they released their schedule on Wednesday. We got our MLS's back tournament. It's kicking off. It's going to be the first professional sports in North America besides the NAWSL that will get going. And we're going to have July 8th as the start date for that. We'll have a doubleheader with Orlando City SC against Inter Miami. And that'll be a nice Florida, I guess you can call it the COVID Bowl. And then we're going to have Chicago Fire versus Nashville SC that evening at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time.
I didn't understand that.
Oh, my phone is yelling at me about how it doesn't understand that, but that's fine because I'm not actually trying to use my phone. Hold on, I'm seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing. There we go. Oh, that was an older message. Oh, there we go. So, we have those two games starting on July 8th, and then we have the Whitecaps. They start their tournament on July 9th. They'll play FC Dallas. These two teams met earlier in San Diego in training camp. And that was 5 months ago, and it does not seem like that was just 5 months ago that I was down in San Diego. I mean, Mark Penn has had a job back then. Imagine working for the New York Knicks and being able to say that that wasn't the most dysfunctional franchise that you've ever worked for. Okay, well, back to the pitch. Vancouver, they're going to take on San Jose Earthquake on July 15th, and they're going to end the group stage with the Seattle Sounders on July 20th, which will be a great rivalry match. It will have a lot of probably group implications by the end of it, but head coach Mark DeSantos had media availability on Wednesday and kind of really spoke about how he wanted to go out after all of the 9 points that were available in the group stage, because they do count for the regular season. So he wanted to really come right at FC Dallas to start the tournament off. Jay Janower from Global BC Sports was there. He will join me in a little bit to talk the MLS's back tournament and the Whitecaps. And some of the other matches to note will be July 15th. We have Montreal Impact against Toronto FC. And then we have El Tráfico on July 18th, featuring the two Los Angeles squads, the LA Galaxy and the LAFC. So sitting down in Disney World, the NBA are trying to figure things out in regards to their tournament, but they're running into some issues as most leagues are. Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets has just recently been the last person to test positive for COVID-19 in Serbia. So, his return to the United States is going to be a little bit delayed. Want to wish him a speedy and healthy recovery from all of that, as that's still a little bit scary, as we don't know anything about that. Guard Avery Bradley for the Los Angeles Lakers has a son with some respiratory issues, so he's opted out of the tournament, which is a smart move on his. Obviously, everybody has to take family first, and even in sports, like there's a lot of things bigger than sports. It sounds like one of the front runners for the Lakers to replace him will be J.R. Smith. So I don't know what you say about J.R. Smith. That'll be an interesting fit with LeBron James. I'm excited to hear that. Some news that actually is coming out of Major League Baseball this year, and wait, they're play ball. Yes, that's right, people. We may, and I say may because who knows right now, but we may actually get MLB back. I wouldn't call it a negotiation, but the Players Association agreed upon things, and they're going to report to training camp on July 1st. The season will get underway on the 23rd or 24th, depending on what teams, and they'll have a 60-game schedule. Be playing 40 of them in their own division, and then 20 against the subsequent divisions in other leagues. So, for example, like the American League East will play against the National League East, and so on and so on. Lucas for Sports Talkline did a great article about this, so you can check that out on our website. And the link will be in the bottom, or we'll add it after, or I don't know, just go to the website and check it out. One of the final hurdles in the negotiations that I do want to mention were the safety protocols. So the teams are required to submit their own team-by-team plan, based on where they're playing, because they're all going to be playing out of their home cities. And that kind of, leads to more questions, because the Blue Jays were going to be playing in Dunedin, Florida. And, well, they've kind of suspended their training camp down there. And, are they going to be playing out of Toronto? There's so many questions as the sports almost get closer back. It's bringing yet more issues. So we're going to move along into to another sport here. And that's the NHL. So there was 6, and now there is apparently 5, because Vancouver fans went to bed last night very optimistic that the NHL was going to use Vancouver as a hub city. But apparently the real optimists in all this were the NHL, if they thought superhero Dr. Bonnie Henry was going to budge at all from her medical precautions and any safety procedures that the NHL wanted to use as Vancouver as a hub city. Richard Zusman from Global BC, actually I'll have it, Jay Janower from Global BC on just shortly with me, reported earlier this morning that Vancouver has been moved on from a hub city and leaving the remaining cities as Edmonton, Toronto, Vegas, Chicago, and LA. There is a possibility that Vancouver could be looked at again if, say, Edmonton or Toronto don't necessarily want to meet the standards or things that they want to do. But I mean, for me, having Vancouver as a hub city, it wasn't anything on the top of the agenda for me. Fans aren't going to be allowed to go there. If they had media availability, it was going to be really limited. And, is that even something that I want to go and risk my safety and precautions to even go and check that out? I'm getting pretty good at these Zoom meetings and stuff like that, so I'll stick to that. And I mean, we're back into phase 2 of the NHL training camps, and we've already had 11 players test positive for COVID-19, and we're not even in the full training camps. So it's going to be a hard thing to roll out. I'm going to talk a bit more about this with Jay. He should join me here shortly. I want to stick real quick with the hockey, with NHL, and the Hockey Hall of Fame, because they announced their class of 2020. I'm going to move through this really quickly because I'm a little bit behind in my timeline. A little bit of people were kind of upset about the decisions. Kind of one of them in particular, and I'll get to that. Jarome Iginla, he gave me so many nightmares as a Vancouver Canucks fan, but they're always classy nightmares. And there's basically only one word to describe Jarome Iginla as a hockey player and a person, and it's class. So, check mark for me on that one. Marian Hossa, Doug Wilson, Kim St. Pierre as players, and Ken Holland as a builder. Yep. I'm fine with all those. The only one that people are a little bit shocked at, and they thought it could have gone to either Daniel Alfredson or Alexander McGillney, was the Hockey Hall of Fame nomination for Kevin Lowe. So, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of the arguments. So I guess the prerequisite for the Hockey Hall of Fame is to have played for the Oilers in the 80s. And how about just be a leader on an amazing team and just solidify a defense that won 6 Stanley Cups? So I got no problems with it. Congrats to Kevin Lowe. Very well deserved. So I don't know if I have Jay on here with me yet. Gonna check in here. Lee, do I have him? Has he back joined me? Funny story. He actually he joined me before at 3 because I'm terrible. I really need to get my times and say like 3 this time, 3:20 Pacific, 3 all this. But I do have Jay connecting with me now. So Jay, thank you very much for joining me again.
Nice to be here. I was a bit of a keener.
Yeah. No, I was just explaining that I've done. It's not the first time that I've done it. I've had some guests from the East Coast time zone on, and I failed to mention that my show is at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So 12 o'clock, I'm getting messages. Hey, where are you? And
It's all good. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you came as a person very highly recommended to talk to. Rick Dollywell said, hey, if you're going to get into doing this, Jay Janower is the person that you want to talk to. He's got the knowledge. So thank you again for joining me and taking the time.
Yeah, Rick and I go back quite a few years. He was working way up north, calling junior hockey. I grew up in Prince George, and then our paths crossed after BCIT. We were both cutting our teeth in the industry, and we've known each other for, I'm going to date myself, but we're going on 30 years. Yeah,
it was, I've been lucky enough to been chatting with Rick for a while now since I got into this, and lucky enough to have him on my show last week. So
cool.
He's a great guy. So just obviously, how are you and your family doing and holding up during all these times? We're getting back to a bit of normal, but still obviously all those things to take in precautions.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting times for all of us. Knock on wood, my entire family's healthy. I haven't been able to give my mom a hug for a while though, because she's in her mid to late 70s now, so I don't want to put her health in jeopardy. But I've been out on the golf course regularly. I've been one of those people who have respected social distancing, but also realized that it's good to get outside and try to keep a bit of a normal routine. So my wife has been out there with me as well, and luckily, we've been doing a lot of interesting stories on Global BC, so I haven't missed a day of work, and trying to, adapt to the new normal, but also still go about doing business as normal.
Yeah, it is interesting getting used to all of the news, doing things by Zoom and connecting to, the media scrums over this. I really love all the coverage that Global, News has been providing everybody. So, keep that great work up. So, anyone who knows you, I want to talk about a couple different subjects with you today,
Sure.
But because your sports, we have the MLS tournament. We have that they've unveiled a schedule yesterday, and we have the Whitecaps playing FC Dallas, followed by San Jose, and then lastly the Sounders. Like, does anything stand out for you regard to the schedule or times of the games?
Hey, Joshua, before we even talk about the MLS and the schedule, I love your setup, but there's a Liverpool flag back there, a scarf, pardon me. I'm surprised you don't have it on, the fact that they've finally clinched the Premier League championship. First time in the modern era, we're talking over 30 years. You've got it hanging on the wall. It looks great, but I thought you'd have it around your neck because obviously you're a friend.
We'll see. No, and that is the thing. I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, I am not a Liverpool fan. But I did want
just wall decorations.
So I did want to add it and give them some love because yes, it was a long time coming for them, and they deserve it. And all of their actual fans out there that have been waiting for it, they're the ones right now, and they're probably doing more than wearing scarves. So cheers to all of them out there.
Yeah, cheers to all of them, and I feel for their supporters because when Liverpool takes to the pitch next time at home, it'll be an empty stadium. Chances are the streets will be empty when it comes time to celebrate. So I think this would be the Vancouver Canucks fans' worst nightmare, or the Vancouver Whitecaps' worst nightmare. You win a championship, you've been waiting decades upon decades, and you can't celebrate with your supporters or fans. So I feel for the Liverpool people. But yeah, let's get back to talking MLS.
Well, I'm sure. Well, no, I'm sure you've heard that anyway. Like the Canucks, this will be the season the Canucks win the Stanley Cup, and they're not able to have a parade, or there's nothing able to happen, or the Whitecaps do it.
Hey, Joshua, the worst thing would be is if the Vancouver Canucks were to win the Stanley Cup. The city of Vancouver is a hub city, and nobody's in the building. Nobody gets to be on the streets. I hope that doesn't happen. In that order, it'd be great to see them win it all. But it really is crazy times in the sports world, and we're going to see the Vancouver Whitecaps next Wednesday. They're going to charter out to Orlando. Teams started arriving there yesterday. It's interesting times, and if I'm a player, I'm excited to play. You heard Mark Dos Santos, who's talked about it for the last probably 10 days about the fact that they're chomping at the bit to play, but there's definitely health concerns there. But he loves the schedule. I love the schedule, and when you look at, it's almost like business as usual for them. The fact that we always see them play Dallas. We always see them play San Jose, and their last match in the round robin portion of the tournament is against their Cascadia Cup rivalry, Seattle Sounders. So he loves that, and he also loves the fact that all three of their matches are going to be played at 10:30 Eastern time, which is strange for us, but they'll have plenty of time to get used to it. But 7:30 for us. And when you look at the schedule, I like the way that it shapes out for the Whitecaps. They'll have familiarity every single day with their training, with their meals, with their sleep patterns, which is something that Mark Dos Santos really wants to hammer home. And they'll also play every single one of their matches at the same time. I think it's in the middle of the schedule that Dallas and Seattle go from playing at night to first thing in the morning, which I think is 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. So when you're looking at perhaps slight advantages, even though there is no advantage when everyone's under that same bubble, that might be an advantage for the Vancouver Whitecaps.
I did notice that too, and I thought that was like because they're advertising the breakfast with MLS, and then they just these random West Coast teams are in the breakfast with MLS. It's like, okay, but it's not the Whitecaps. Thank you. So I'll take that.
And when and when you remember professional athletes, they're creatures of habit.
Yes,
they really are. Everything is so regimented. It's set in stone every single day, and it becomes comfortable. But when you change some of that, I mean, look at we've watched it with the Canucks when they go on an Eastern road trip and they play Pittsburgh at 10 o'clock in the morning. They just don't seem to be the same hockey team. I'm going to be curious to see if that'll be the same scenario, with the MLS teams.
Well, and Mark, I mean, you mentioned a bit, and like Mark talked about it, and you fired off a lot of great questions. Actually, I mean, I make sure I'm taking notes on not only what the coach is saying, but what some of you great journalists like JJ and Manuel Vaith are saying and asking. So, I mean, what did you make of his demeanor and attitude going into the tournament? Because he seemed like very business. And
yeah, I mean, he has to be very business, and I get it. I mean, his business is the business of soccer. But the more that you hang around with Marc Dos Santos, the more that you feel Marc Dos Santos, the person. He's a father. He wants to do right by his players, preparing them to play. But he's also a human being. He's also watching the news. He's also keeping track of the numbers. He's also talking to their medical specialists who they bring in on a regular basis to answer the players' questions. When you look at the numbers in Orlando right now, and when you look at, I think it was yesterday, there was 27 states where it was spiking big time. I think of a player like Andy Rose, who's diabetic, and I came in contact with my first person, a buddy of mine who lives in Carolina, the very first person I know who has COVID-19. His symptoms have been severe headaches as well as vomiting for 2 straight days. I worry about people with pre-existing conditions. So I think Marc Dos Santos in the back of his mind is worried about his players' overall well-being. Taking them into that bubble and winning soccer games is one thing, but putting people's lives at risk, is another. And I think when we look at the United States, if we're being perfectly honest, I can ask you right now, would you hop on an airplane? And I guarantee you'll say no.
Nope.
And they're flying and they're chartering, mind you. But when you look at all the variables that are in play, when you get to the airport, do you know your bus driver has washed his hands? Do you know that all the handles in the bus, the seat belts have been sanitized? The maids who have been cleaning your rooms, the people who are cooking your food. You're putting a lot of trust in a lot of people, and it just takes one innocent mistake, and that bubble gets pierced, and then you have 2 people who are ill, 3 people who are ill, and who knows where it goes from there. So I think Marc Dos Santos, the human being, thinks like you and us. And as excited as he is to play soccer, he knows the reality that they're entering.
And you've already seen it from, stars from, like Carlos Vela and Chicharito Hernandez, because, they have, wives who are pregnant and they don't want to risk them. And I mean, I can 100% see, Andy Rose making a decision and for his health, which is the smart decision. I know that Mark said that the players got their handbooks and protocol was kind of set forth in regards to how the safety measure would be. I mean, do you have any issues with anything with that? I mean,
well, I think the players are like you and I. They're very well educated. They ask questions. They don't want to get sick. I mean, yeah, they're excited to play, but as you mentioned, they have families. They don't want to see, their left back go down because of COVID. The one thing that really bothers me about all of this, and we tend to forget that pro sports is a business. It's a big business. I mean, they are losing millions of dollars. So at some point, you want your business to start up if it's your family restaurant, if it's the gas station or whatever it is. But you're taking such a risk, and you can't fault guys for worrying about their overall health, because we're still very much early into this pandemic where we don't know if you're afflicted with it. Are you going to suffer permanent lung damage? Are you going to have respiratory issues? We don't know that yet. And if you have a pre-existing condition, it's worrisome.
It is very worrisome. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about Whitecaps, but
Yeah.
I also want to talk to you about the NHL and the Canucks. And so I don't want to run out of time with you. So I'm going to switch it over a bit.
Sure.
I'm joined by Jay Janower from Global BC Sports. We had some exciting news, I guess depends on what side you're on, in regards to hub cities this morning that came right out of you guys, out of Global BC and Richard Zusman. So Vancouver is apparently off the list right now of hub cities. How do you feel about that one?
Well, here's the thing. Fingers crossed that we see pro sports come back and then they can start and finish. My concern is you start and you don't finish, and then the effects with people getting sick, as well as how that affects business down the line. People forget, if we don't see hockey, and this is coming from the people that I've spoken with, NHL executives, players, as well as high-profile agents. You're going to see a trickle-down effect here if you don't see hockey. You're going to see television contracts. You're going to see, literally hundreds and hundreds of $1 million at play here. If you see hockey, and if a lot of eyeballs go on hockey, the business of hockey improves, because when it comes time to negotiating your next contract in the United States, you can point and say, look at these great ratings.
Yeah.
As far as the city of Vancouver, you and I as hockey fans are going to watch hockey regardless where it is.
Yep.
I have a real problem with the NHL continuing to try to muscle, massage, maneuver medical health officials towards their agenda. And Dr. Bonnie Henry has done a great job the way that she has guided our province. And, my Mother's Day salute, I saluted Dr. Bonnie Henry because I said she's been our province's mother, the way that she's tended to all of us. You can't change the rules for professional athletes.
No.
I'm sorry. If you're coming into our province, we all follow the same rules. Now, as far as the hub cities, I know that the NHL went back to teams on Friday throughout the weekend, asking them to look back into their bids to do some revising. I think overall, if I want to provide the safest and best product out there, I'm coming to Vancouver and I'm coming to Edmonton. Edmonton would be the top of my list because they could provide, and they will provide, the tightest bubble for all of the hockey players, the personnel, and the officials with their setup. Vancouver's a little bit more tricky. We have the hotels, the world-class hotels, but our transportation isn't as easy as Edmonton. The last thing I want to say on this is there's a lot of politics at play. And I've always had the sneaky suspicion that Toronto would get in there for a couple reasons. One, proximity to league headquarters. And secondly, the bulk of your players, Canadian players, are based in Toronto, as is one of your rights holders. So that's always been my sneaky suspicion. They'd come in through the back door. Everyone else would be kind of reeled in. We'll get the excitement going. And then the rug gets pulled out from underneath you. And I think that's what we're going to see.
I had Ken Reed on my show a couple weeks ago, and I asked him, so who do you think will be a hub city and why will it be Toronto? And he laughed, and yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that one about Toronto ending being a hub city. And if the NHL is actually looking for the overall safety of their players, they would go with the safest spots. I mean, it's very clearly Edmonton and Vancouver. And if they could make it all happen properly, then those are the safest spots, as opposed to some of the American cities that they're proposing.
Yeah, and I think, I was told by an NHL executive who's been working on his team's bid that his belief was Vegas was a given because it already had their contract signed for the NHL awards ceremony. They would roll those contracts over to the hub city, so the NHL would save some money there. And again, like we said a few minutes ago, it's a business. We forget it is a business, and they have been losing millions of dollars. And if you can save a few, this is one of the ways doing it. Now, when you look at the city of Edmonton, not only would they create the tightest bubble, they'd have the best ice. They've shown us, if you're concerned about the product as well as your athlete's well-being, because nobody wants to skate in porridge, Edmonton provides the best ice. When you look at Las Vegas, can you imagine hockey there, August, September, leading into October, skating on those conditions? Because we're going to be talking a minimum 2 games a day, perhaps maybe as many as 3. I'll tell you, you see the bad ice here in Vancouver when it's like a tennis ball on the ice after 8 minutes. Watch what we're going to see in Vegas.
I was wondering about the whole heat factors that they were going to use Vegas, because I was hearing that Vegas was probably one of the front runners for it, because they had everything in order, and the hotels and everything, the amenities were so great. But like you said, I mean, even just being a hockey player and having to walk out and that kind of weather, and then just go into a cooled arena and be trying to play, like, I don't know, that was a weird one.
Well, and the other thing too, and even though we're deep into our hockey talk and we're kind of deep into this process, the NHLPA still has to sign off on this.
Yes.
They have to, they have to determine, first off, if their health is at risk. Are they satisfied with the protocols? Are they satisfied where they're going? And I've been told that my understanding is every player is going to vote on this. The NHLPA board won't have their own vote, which I think the league would hope would happen to get it through. I've been told every member is going to vote on this. And I think there's a lot more players that don't want to play because of the fact that they've got families. They don't want to put them at risk. I think it's going to be a closer vote than a lot of people think. So as much as we're excited about the possibility of hockey, it's far from a done deal.
That's really interesting that you mentioned that about all the players wanting to vote, because I mean, I know when all of this first came out into phase one, Devin Dubnyk, and I think his article got I forget, I think it was on The Athletic or ESPN. Now I'll list them all off so I don't forget anybody. But he made it and said, hey guys, it's not done yet. We have a lot of stuff to do in regards to health things. I mean, I look at just for the Canucks, Bo Horvat, Antoine Roussel, they're expecting, kids this summer. There's a lot of other NHL players. You plan your NHL, almost your life around the NHL season in some aspect.
Yeah, you do. And the other thing that we should keep in very, very close thought processes here is the NHL players have pretty much been paid for the entire season, except for one paycheck. Mm-hmm. As a bill of goodwill, they have put that their final paycheck in perpetuity for the league. It's sitting right there. So if you're a veteran hockey player and you have concerns, as you just expressed, do you really need that extra $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 paycheck? I've been told the amount of money from this last pay period is anywhere from 6 to 8% of total payroll for the entire National Hockey League players. I've been told the players are more than willing to hand it over to the owners and to put it in escrow if they decide not to play. So that's another thing to keep in mind as this process, the deeper we go down the lane on this process. So there is a lot of balls in play here, and they still have to vote on it.
There is so much. I mean, and I keep mentioning, because I'm bringing it up and I'm letting everybody know. I'm like, hey, this is, we're getting plans for this. I was like, but.
It's a big but.
Yes, we have. There's still all this, like, they have the date set, but again, we don't know what 2 weeks is going to look like, what a month is going to look like, what 2 months is going to look like.
No, we don't. And, because this pandemic has been so strange, and because it seems to change every week, and we've done such a great job here, but we're seeing what's happening south of the border. I worry in regards to starting up, and we talked about this earlier, not finishing. It's going to be interesting to see what Major League Baseball does. The National Football League is liking the fact that they don't start until September. They're all systems go. Their owners have been very tight-lipped, very quiet. The CFL, if they start, I was hopeful last month. I'm not so hopeful this week after the people I've spoken with. No. I think, I would say as a sports fan, I've watched more Bundesliga soccer in the last month than I have in the last 5 years. I think if you're a league, if you can figure it out and if you can get your product out there, it's a win-win on so many levels. But the longer you wait, the more issues that come into play. And I'm worried that's what's happening right now with the National Hockey League. That's what's happening with Major League Baseball. And is the NBA going to finish? Are they going to start? There's another one.
Yeah. You can lump them all into that. I mean, I have some of my biggest doubts I have about right now are about the NFL, just because of what kind of a sport it is.
Yeah, it's a contact sport. And, I was chatting with the players out at the Lions facility, and, I was watching them lift weights and work the pads. And Hockey's the exact same way. It's a contact sport. And when you look at what's happening in the United States, and, I'm a big golf fan, so I've been watching the PGA Tour the last 2 weeks. You see guys fist pumping. You see guys putting their arms around each other. I've been told stories of caddies and players going out for dinner, no social distancing. Well, if they're doing it, do you not think we're going to see the same ignorance from NFL players, NHL players, Major League Baseball players, hopefully not Major League Soccer players, but I think some people have lulled themselves into a false sense of security, and I think that's leading to the numbers, and that could lead to the demise of sports in the summertime.
Let's hope that is not the case, and let's hope we got a lot of great sports to come back to. Jay Janower, thank you again for joining me from Global BC Sports, Global TV. Thank you again for taking the time to join me and talk pretty much everything sports.
Hey, I really appreciate it, and love the Liverpool scarf, love the Whitecaps jersey, and thanks for having me, and stay safe.
You as well. Thank you very much. All right. So that was Jay Janauer, like I said, from Global BC Sports. Guy knows everything. Look at his resume and his list of the people that he's talked to and interviewed in his long time. He dated himself there in the interview, but we're not going to have to worry about that. There's a little bit of other sports that I do want to bring up because I missed them in the opening, and I was kind of a little bit rushed with how things got going in the first couple minutes of not actually having a show on. But so NASCAR is making news again. There was the reports that a noose was found in Bubba Wallace's garage. NASCAR did an investigation with the FBI down in the United States, and they determined that it had been there since 2019. I don't know. I don't have a garage pull down. I hit my garage with a button. I don't know how they're supposed to look or anything like that. One of the things I do want to take away from it was just the overall experience that the other drivers and crew members came together and did that nice gesture where they walked his car with him and he really stood in solidarity. So it's nice to see from NASCAR, and I hope that they keep going in the way that they have been with banning the Confederate flag and things. Jay kind of mentioned it about different athletes and in different leagues testing positive and things like that. And we have some more news in another sport, in tennis, as the coronavirus has now hit world number one, Novak Djokovic. He got it in Serbia. We were supposed to have tennis back a bit. We had the Adria Tour. The final was canceled because Djokovic, as I said, and Grigor Dimitrov both tested positive. I don't know if anybody saw. Of course you tested positive for it, Novak Djokovic. You were out throwing a massive party. You were dancing around with your shirt off like me at a Christmas party. Get it together, man. What are you doing? We want to see sports back. Oh, you issued an apology. You were so ignorant about the fact of it. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna move on. I got a little bit more NHL news about the Climate Pledge Arena. That's right, you heard that. Amazon and Jeff Bezos bought the naming rights for Seattle's new franchise's arena. I have no idea what it is with companies naming the arena such ridiculous things. We have like 8 rinks that start with Rogers. They could have just named it like Amazon Arena, so I guess I give them a little bit of props for creativity. I'm getting a lot of thoughts on what their new name should be. I, for one, vote for the Seattle Captain Planets. So I love that show as a kid. Captain Planet, he's our hero. He will make pollution down to zero. So Seattle, think about it for your show or for your team name. So I want to talk a little bit of NHL news here, or sorry, NFL news, as I just talked in. I was tricked into talking about the stupid Dallas Cowboys on the round table with Van, as he just said we were going to talk football. But this one here, the Unnamed Sports Show, this one is my show. So I get to pretty much talk about what I want. And when I'm talking about NFL news, I will not be talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I will be talking about the Los Angeles Rams. And anyone who's thinking that the LA Rams aren't going to have a good season, they're going to like maybe I've seen things like, oh, they're going to have 2 or 3 wins, and they're going to just basically not make the playoff. No, they still got they lost Todd Gurley. He had a bad knee, degenerative knee. Okay, he's not gonna do. What's going on here? What is?
This is a hostile takeover right here. This is a hostile takeover of No Remorse Sports. Cue that NWO music right now. Down, 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 down. Anyway, you're asking yourself, why? Why am I here right now? Why am I here? I'm here to help Josh. You're probably complaining, hey, what's he doing? Oh, why can't he just butt out and have his own show? No, the ratings are going to be huge. I told Josh the ratings will be huge, so I'm here to interfere. Anyway, enough with the Canadian segment of the show here. We're going to go forward with a more worldly view. And we're going to go into the UFC right now. We got an event Saturday, boy. We got a fight night. Main event, we got Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker. Oh, my goodness. But the fight I'm looking forward to right now, oh, man, it is platinum time. Platinum Mike Perry versus Mickey Gall, or the guy who beat CM Punk. Depends on who you ask. Anyway, the issue going on right here, right now with Platinum Mike Perry, it was this like, it was every girl's dream with that relationship he was just in. Oh my God, relationship goals. Anyway, he used to go to the ring with his girlfriend, and he had in his corner, she would actually corner. You had 4 people you could choose from the corner. You came in with his girlfriend. Anyway, now wife, then broke up recently, got this new young thing, and I'm never, ever, ever going to talk bad about another man's girl. But let's just put it this way. Chris D'Elia would have interest in her. So let's put it this way. All sorts of people have been hitting up Mike Perry on Instagram saying, hey, what's with this young girl? Anyway, he's pissed. He's super pissed right now. He's saying, F you to all the haters, and he's going full Clubber Lang. Did you ever watch Rocky 3? Rocky 3, it was Mr. T's role, where he went, I pity the fool, pain. So he's doing his best Clubber Lang impression right now, having no one in his corner except for his girlfriend. Now that is dangerous. That is dangerous. After situations we've seen recently with Anthony Smith, near losing teeth in the octagon, and the other guy quitting in the octagon, it is absolutely a detriment to Mike Perry having his girlfriend. That you can't have that on a significant other to all of a sudden throw in the towel. Not going to happen. I wouldn't have I wouldn't even have my ball.
Yep. Okay. Yep. We got this back. Pete, what are you doing?
You're on my show, dude.
No, this is my show. What are you?
I told everyone this is No Remorse Sports.
No, this is the Unnamed Sports Show, man. What did you even do?
Oh, I showed your audience my ass for 5 minutes.
Oh, good.
And then I did like Jim Carrey impersonations into it.
Oh, beautiful.
It was like a sock puppet show with like my hemorrhoids.
I'm all here scrambling around with Lee trying to figure out why my audio and all this stuff doesn't work and why I can't do my own show.
The ratings were huge. That's all I got to say.
I think that's when I tried to start figuring things out, when you started doing the huge thing. Okay, I want since I have you on, I want to talk. Did you see that Clinton Clinton Dix was attacked by bears?
Yeah. Oh man, those were. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. I was just thinking about. I would have gunned it. Honestly, I would have passed by him and I would have gunned it. But then again, I probably wouldn't be here to tell the tale, but that's just me. What would you have done?
I probably would have just got in my car and gunned it too. The only reason I brought this up is because I just actually Semi-Pro was on TV this morning and Jackie Mood fought a bear.
Oh my God. That's awful. Did you get him in a headlock?
Have you not seen the movie Semi-Pro?
No.
With Will Ferrell?
Oh, wait. That's the one where,
one.
he's a basketball player in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see all that.
Yeah,
I was pretty drunk, though.
Oh, he fought a bear.
Oh, he fought a bear?
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that clip of when that dude in Australia punched a kangaroo.
Oh, I saw that too.
Yeah, that was pretty badass.
That was a mistake, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Those things are jacked. You ever seen a kangaroo stand up? Those things are like on steroids.
No, I wouldn't fight a kangaroo. I mean, you've seen them fight.
Well, Spinksy tried to do something else with them that I probably shouldn't describe on your show. So
no, it's a PG-rated show. So thank you for not describing it.
Yeah, it was awful. He Snapchatted it. So.
Thank you for giving me my show back, because me and Lee couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. Unless you want to chat anything else, I'm gonna start wrapping things up.
Yeah, man. Well, I came in like Vern Gagne right there when he was on steroids to come save the day.
I thought I heard something about Chris D'Elia too. I don't even want to. I'm gonna watch back and shake my head about that. Don't Google Chris D'Elia.
Well, no, you just have to turn on Twitter. Then you'll figure it out soon enough if you don't know already.
Well, it's not really a sports show, but thank you for bringing your amazing charm to it. Everybody make sure to check out Nate No Remorse Sport on Twitter. It's one word, right?
Yes, it's No Remorse Sports. That is one word. One word. It's also being worked on and being a word in the dictionary.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, people under the IQ of 85.
It's going to be an urban dictionary. Okay. So thanks, Nate, for whatever you just did. And okay. Have a great day, bud. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers from this side of the road.
From this side of the road. Damn Americans taking over my show.
Yippee-ki-yay, I'm a cowboy. Yeep, yeep, I'm a cowboy.
Well,
you see why I'm wearing a hat.
Lee, do you not have control over this? Can you not remove him now?
All right, I'm going to show my ass again.
No, Lee.
I'm getting naked. I'm going to get naked if you don't shut me off soon.
I'm trying to close out the show.
Fans only. Or is it only fans or fans only?
I don't know. I feel like Lee's ignoring me. Did you get mad because you took everything over? Oh, we can just close the show together. You want to close the show together?
Yep.
Okay. Well, you know what to do. Everybody, make sure. Thank you for tuning in to the Unnamed Sports Show that had a No Remorse Nate takeover at the end there. So make sure to like and subscribe down at the bottom. As always, hit that notification button, because then it's going to tell you right when we're coming up. You can hear us. Nate has his own show. He's really annoying. So if you like that kind of thing, join him. Nate.
Yeah. Hey.
Love it. Okay, so make sure to tune in to all of the rest of our great stuff from the talented writers at Sports Talkline. Nate's always got a little bit of humor there, so I was glad that he ended up, letting me back onto my show. I don't know if I even have Lee back yet, but I don't know what he did. I'm going to try and figure that out, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. But I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I had a great time talking to Jay Janower about the Whitecaps, MLS coming back, NHL coming back, We talked a little bit of CFL. We pretty much talked a lot of sports. Next week, make sure you tune in, as Wednesday is Canada Day. So on Thursday, I'm going to have a big Canada Day episode of the Unnamed Sports Show. Going to keep it really Canada. Might even add like a Canada Day flag somewhere. Probably not. Running out of room back there, as I've kind of been pointed out. So thank you again for joining me on the Unnamed Sports Show on the Sports Talk Line Network. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I didn't change. It's on this side. I keep doing that wrong. I didn't change my name, but if you want to follow me, it's Joshua Griffith 0. It's JGriff81 on Instagram. And you can pretty much type in Unnamed Sports Show on all those platforms, and you're going to find me on the podcast, on the Spotify, all that stuff right after this comes out. So thanks again for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.